Welcome, this is Shakti, your online astrologer, and I live on Maui, so that means I have to do most of my business online because I'm living on a small island. So 80% of my astrology readings I'm actually doing on Skype. So I am personally very, very passionate about astrology, and I love it. First of all, because of all the wisdom perspective it has given me in my life and for my journey, but also because I have seen how those specific insights and the clarity you can gain from astrology has helped my friends and my clients. So today I have prepared a PowerPoint presentation for you in a little while there, and I will give you the highlights for the coming months, starting around the 20th or 21st, always when the sun moves into the next sign. And I believe that 100% preparation often equals 100% success. So it's a way to become more in contact with what's going on and how to ride the wave of life, the planetary wave, the universal forces in a beneficial way. So for me, astrology has become a spiritual journey, and astrology is really magic. I mean, it's an occult science. So more you know and learn about astrology, so more people usually get into it. So I invite you to do the next step and just see what's coming up next month for you. And make sure you hang in to the end, because I give very practical suggestions about what you can really do well this month and how you can ride those special forces. And you don't want to miss that. I always love when you give me comments and suggestions. I really want to know what you want to hear about. And it's also nice to not just talk into this empty space out there, so that there are actually real people out there listening to me and it's beneficial for somebody. So please leave me your comments and likes and all that stuff. Okay, see you over there. Welcome over here. This is Shakti again. And I don't know if you know that I'm an evolutionary astrologer, which means that I'm looking at astrology from the perspective of what can those specific astrological informations we have do to enhance your consciousness. How can you use that in your own personal evolution? And how can you use it to connect with your own soul in a deeper way? I'm also a published author. I have written a book, Jewelry and Gems for Self-Discovery, and it's actually an introduction into astrology, and then how you can use gemstones in order to balance areas of friction in your horoscope and in your personality. So you might want to check that out. So today we're going to talk about the time frame of beginning with the sun moving into Leo, July 22nd in the morning at 8:59 Pacific Standard Time. And this is the overview till the sun moves into Virgo, sometimes end of August. So these are the specifics we're going to look into. It's first full moon in Aquarius, July 20th or 21st, depending where you are on the planet. And that's happening the very beginning at 1 degree. Then we will have a second one at 29 degrees at the end of the month of August, August 20th, 21st. So you can imagine 2 full moons in the same sign. That's pretty strong and outrageous. So we're going to discuss what that means for you. Then we have the sun, as I said before, moving into Leo, July 22nd. There's more action in Leo because we also have the new moon in Leo, August 6th. And we have the Mercury moving into Leo, August 8th. On top of that, we will have Jupiter opposing Pluto from the sign of Cancer, squaring Uranus. This will happen August 7th. And also our friend and goddess Venus will move into a new sign and in her own sign into Libra August 16th. So as you can tell, there is a lot to talk about. I try to keep it short. For the full moon and new moon, you might consider to look up, when I have them ready, the more in-depth videos about the moon astrology, but I'm going to give it some thoughts here as well. So the art of astrology. In my eyes, astrology is not as much a science as an art. It is an occult art of divination, and of course there are some underlying laws and universal principles. That's why you could call it a science. But to apply those, I believe that this brings in so much of our individual consciousness that I would really call that an art, to reach in all these different dimensions and bring it together and make some sense out of it. So when we talk astrology, we talk archetypes and symbols. So there are no forms really inscripted into the future. That means that we have choices, and the choices have a lot to do, and our abilities to create higher or lower manifestations of those archetypes and universal principles. It all depends on our state of consciousness. So my intention with doing these regular astrology videos for you is to, first of all, educate you a little bit about astrology, but also to give you each month kind of a level of preparedness, that you kind of have better choices to help you ride the wave of life. This is what we do and love to do in Maui, where I'm living. And I love this picture because it really shows that when you know how to ride the wave, then it can be actually really fun and exhilarating. So consciousness is the key. That's why we're doing this. So here are our two full moons in Aquarius, one in the beginning, one in the end. So let's have a look at Aquarius. What does Aquarius mean? The Aquarius spirit in general is describing the archetype of the outsider, the one alienated from the mainstream, outside the mainstream. So the Aquarian one needs to gather experiences outside the consensual reality, and often becomes a role model, a leader for others. Because when you're able to think out the box, then other people might look at you and think, well, that's interesting, let's find out more about this. So you can become a leader or role model for others if you start thinking your own thoughts. So for Aquarius, it's all about freedom, independence, and changes. So Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the planet Uranus, or the god Uranus, however you want to look at it. And we look at Uranus as the rebel, the revolutionary, the one who carries evolution forward. So the evolutionary thrust for change. This is Uranus and the Aquarian people for you. So we could say with two full moons, full moon is always kind of bringing the heights of consciousness, reflecting back onto where we are, what's going on in our inner world, and reflected back into our outer world. So that would mean that we are looking at a month between July and August 20th, where we don't take things laying down. We were willing to stand up for our rights. There are gonna be riots, rebellious strategies and ways to defend democracy and our rights. Also, we start the month I'm looking at here when the sun is moving into Leo. And actually Leo is the opposing sign of Aquarius. So whatever we talk about Leo and Aquarius, they're kind of complementing each other, those qualities. So Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is the archetype of the king, the benevolent leader. In our solar system, the sun, you could say, is the king, is the center. All the other planets evolve around the sun. So the sun is really giving us our life, our consciousness, as you will. So as an astrology sign, Leo is a sign of fire and highest passion. So here it is where we learn dignity, we learn about self-worth, we learn about joy, how to find joy and what true joy means for us. And we learn to stand out, we learn to be on stage, we learn to be out there, that other people look at us. And that kind of actually works pretty well together with what we have discussed before about the Aquarian spirit, becoming the role model, pushing forward the evolution. So this is a month where both those qualities come together. The one who can think for themselves, who is ahead of its time, and then the qualities of the leader, of really being passionate about change. So this is how those both signs, Leo and Aquarius, can move together. We also have a new moon in Leo, so another planet, another aspect in Leo. The new moon is always a new start, a new round of emotional consciousness or emotional maturity. And the area we are asked for that maturation process is symbolized by the sign the new moon is in. So here there is a new circle starting in Leo. So it's all about finding that passion, stepping up to the plate, being out there. So emotionally finding that place of strength, of creativity, of self-expression. Another planet moving into Leo on August 8th. So Mercury, the messenger of the gods, Mercury symbolizing how we integrate the world around us intellectually, how we take in information through our senses. So Mercury has a lot to do with our mind capabilities. So Mercury moving into Leo, we could say it's really a boost to our creativity, to have bold ideas and to go for them. And again, it's really about passion, to become passionate about something. So let's have a closer look about what else Leo represents. So Leo is closely connected with values of creative, spontaneous, confident self-expression. So this is all what Leo wants to learn and wants to get better at, you could say. So if somebody has a lot of planets in Leo, for example, from an evolutionary point of view, we could say these are the qualities somebody wants to learn or deepen their skills in. So when we have all those planets in Leo, we could say these are the inner aspects of ourselves we want to deepen into that more confident self-expression. So Leo is ruled by the sun, and with that we look at the urge to develop joy and self-confidence. The fifth house is attributed to Leo qualities. So if we have, for example, a lot of planets in the fifth house, a lot of those qualities we're talking about with Leo, we really have to bring into life. We really need to manifest. Here's a chart for those of you who have a little more experience with astrology and how a horoscope actually looks. This is a chart for the moment when the Sun goes into Leo. And we have 3 planets in Cancer: Jupiter, Mars, Mercury at that moment. You can see Moon is already opposing, but not quite a full moon. It's still at the end of Capricorn. What I want you to look at here also is the opposition from Jupiter to Pluto. Jupiter in Cancer, Pluto in Capricorn, both squaring Uranus, and this is what we call a T-square. So this is a figure in astrology which is said to hold a lot of friction and energies we have to confront, we have to do something with. So Jupiter is opposing Pluto from the sign of Cancer and simultaneously squaring Uranus August 7th. So Jupiter, another king, the king of the Roman gods, and Jupiter is all about expansion, it's about bigness, it's about growth, it's about looking at life from a higher wisdom perspective. So there's a lot of oomph behind Jupiter. So Jupiter opposing Pluto is really kind of pushing on Pluto, and all those transformational energies and pressures we have been looking at in our society for some years now, since the stock market melted down and all the political trouble we're facing. So this is all symbolized through the square between Pluto and Uranus. So now Jupiter is coming in and kind of activates it with a lot of energy. So Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, so it's a pretty fiery guy. So it might carry the possibilities to really bring out a deeper truth, to really gain a more wisdom perspective about what is needed and how we can really make true change. So the Jupiter is in Cancer, and that will hopefully add a more human perspective for important decisions in politics and commerce, and add a bigger perspective of that we are all one family, we are all one. And if we make decisions from that place, we are in the right direction. Another planet is moving into a new sign, which is Venus, into Libra, August 16th. And Venus is moving into her own sign, which makes her very strong. And it brings in a hard quality and a gentleness to the mix, which I believe we definitely need. And Venus also supports the creative energy of everything we have talked about so far, of the Leo intentions. So Venus kind of teams up here and gives you an ability and supportive flow for any kind of artistic ventures. So now let us get to the practical stuff after all, and your suggestions. We could say this month it's all about Leo projects and Aquarian projects, and here with the Leo side, we could say it's all about passion. It's all about finding that motivation in you, something you're really juiced up about. So the question is, what gives you joy? What makes you happy? And the whole artistic and creative way of expressing our inner feelings and ideas and thoughts, it's a wonderful way to let that flow, and it gives a lot of joy to learn something new in that field. If you're a painter, you might enjoy learning how to dance or to sing, or there's so many different ways for creative expression. So the question with Leo is asking you where you're holding back, and holding back instead of thriving on the stage of life. But to be able to do that, there has to be a willingness to step up and step out and take some responsibility and be a leader And a leader has always people who criticizes her, so, or him. So yeah, learning to stand out, to step up, for to ask for that promotion, to take responsibility. That's part of the journey this month. So I really want you to trust your own individual gifts and make a list. What are you able to do and what do you love to do? So you can probably talk English better than I can. You know about currency. You have some kind of training in some field. So make a list and see where your juices, where you want to deepen, where you want to go. Physical activities with Leo as a fire sign, I would say just keep it moving. Make sure you exercise this month so you don't get stuck and smoldery inside with all the Leo fire. Complementing Leo, we said, is Aquarius. So here we have the Aquarian projects for you. You are invited to trust your own inner guidance over the so-called good advice from outside, external advice from your friends, from people in the media, people you think you might know better. So it's really about learning to escape from external authority in favor of learning to trust your own inner guidance, your own inner soul guidance. So this is how you truly develop your individuality. You have a right to be yourself and shape your own life experience. And of course, it depends on how conscious you are of who you are and what your potentials are. So that's why I love astrology so much, because if you know more about your personal birth chart, you just know how you bring those potentials, those energy fields into a higher experience in your life. So Aquarius projects could be described by any kind of breakthrough experiences, which could be more internally, like you wake up one morning and you just know what your next step is. You're gonna marry, you leave your family, you move off the island, or whatever it is. Or it could be breakthrough experience in more an external way. So doing things like hang gliding, parachuting off an airplane, fast, exciting adventures, which are kicking up your adrenals. So these are kind of Aquarian activities you could do this month. In general, what does it mean riding the wave? It means that you are asked to expand your conscious awareness of who you truly are. That's why I really see the Aquarian spirit as the need to find that own inner guidance, to develop an originality and an individuality. And one way to do that, to really become very clear of who you are, your potentials, in your challenges, and in your karmic set point, the best way I know is to get an astrological reading, because it really gives you that higher perspective. And because we're working with archetypes, it will give you better choices. It will leave you with a heightened perspective of clarity. Another way to ride the wave is to start journaling with morning pages, which I've done for years, and I really think it's a wonderful way to connect with your own inner unconsciousness. And just sit down with the tea in the morning and write in your journal and see what's coming up. And then the next step is to practice setting your intentions out of the clarity which will be coming out of your morning pages. You can practice to set your intentions, maybe affirmations, and guide your unconsciousness, your energies, your daily focus into the direction where you want to grow, where you want to be. So this is kind of something you can do every month, but in my perspective, perspective as an evolutionary astrologer, it's really always about growing of your consciousness, gaining that wisdom perspective, really knowing who you are. Of course, if you want to be kept in the loop, especially for the coming up full moon and new moon videos, and you haven't yet, please sign up, and you will always be in the loop for forecast readings, general highlights, lunar astrology, and whatever else I'm coming up with. So remember to do that. I love to hear your comments and questions. If you like to support me because you like what I'm doing, give me your feedback, and of course I need the thumbs up. It helps with the ranking on Google, so if you like what I'm doing, please support me that way. And here you have my credentials. I'm doing this astrology journey on my own now for 35 years. You can say I'm an expert who provides astrological readings online through Skype, so you can reach me from wherever you are on the earth. You can either call me in Hawaii, make sure you're calling at the right time, or you can head over to mauiastrologyreading.com, to my website, where you will find a lot of specific information, what kind of readings I'm offering, prices, and so on. So make sure to connect, and I'm looking forward. Thank you for visiting with me. I'm glad to have you here, and you have interest for astrology, because this is has been just such a wonderful journey for me, and I love to share that with you. Okay, see you soon. Aloha.